This one is very simple because in this case, you out to take what's common on both sides. Now, which term is common on my first term and my second term? Which term is there on the first term and my second term? Which term is there? Or it's common on both sides? It's x again, because x, I can see x is here and x is here. Now, I'm writing my x here. Remember, you ought to take out the one that has got the lowest exponent. In all cases, when you talk about variables and taking out what's common, you ought to take out the one with the lowest exponent. Now, between x to the power 1 and x to the power 3, which one has got the lowest common, has the lowest exponent? It is x to the power 1. Therefore, I took out this x outside the bracket. Now, we've got 4 here and 1 here. Remember, in terms of taking out the highest common factor, what are factors of 4? What are factors of 4 is 1, 2, and 4. What are factors of 1? Factors of 1 is only one factor, which is 1. Now, from these two factors, or from these two numbers, 4 and 1, from its factors, which one or which two numbers are common on both sides and are high? Are high. 1 and 1. Which means 1 and 1 appears on both sides, and 1 in this case, it is the highest common factor. That means 1 invisible 1. So it's so unnecessary to put it. You can leave it like this as x, and here, therefore you open the bracket here. Now, for you to find the factors that will sit after you've opened the brackets or next to the brackets here, you ought to say that 4x here, 4x divided by my common factor, which is x, and x. When you divide the two, x divided by x is 1. Therefore, I'm left with 4. 4 divided by 1 is 4. That means I'm gonna write 4 here. 4. Wow, guys. The very same thing when I go do it on your second term, which is negative x to the power 3. Negative x to the power 3 divided by my common factor, which is x. Okay, I give what about negative 1 divided by 1 is negative 1. Invisible. Now, x to the power 3 divided by x to the power 1. Same basis, subtract the exponents. Therefore, 3 minus 1 is x squared. Now, I'm going to write negative x squared here. Are we clear, guys? Ne? Are we clear, ne? We are not done. We are not done, guys. We are not done. Now, remember, you must factorize full. We're not done with this one, okay? Now, when you look at your what's inside your brackets, you've got 4 minus x squared. Now, if you have got x squared or a variable with a squared and a minus sign in the middle of these two terms, we are now talking about the concept of the difference of two squares. The difference of two squares. The difference is minus, and you've got the squares here. Come on, so we're going to have two brackets. In this case, two brackets. And you must know the factors of 4. Which two terms can I multiply to give me 4? In terms of the difference of two squares, you need to know the concept of difference of two squares. You must know how it works. Ne? Go back to your textbooks. Now, in this case, what are two terms that I can multiply to give me 4? Since 4 is an even number, that means 2 and 2 is going to give me 4. It's an even number, basically. You are breaking that even number, basically. Now, what are factors of x squared is x and x. Now, the difference of two squares, you need to have different or opposite signs between negative and positive. Irrespective of where you put these two signs, it does not matter, as long as they are in opposite. Wow. Then when it's like this, you are done with this question. That's how you do it, guys. This is how you're gonna get your 3 marks here. These 3 marks, ne? You're gonna get your 3 marks from taking out this x outside the bracket and simplifying my difference of two squares and taking out this expression after you've taken the common factor out. Now, this is the first question. This is how you do it, guys. Thank you very much. Let us do the next question. 1.1.2 on our question paper. got x squared plus 15x minus 54. Now, if you've got three terms in this case and you've got a squared here, this is what we call a quadratic trinomial. Quadratic trinomial, guys. If you've got three terms here and a squared and a coefficient of a variable, which is x in this case, and a constant, there's a quadratic trinomial. That's how you spot it out. Must have three terms, the squared must be involved, and a variable with its coefficient must be there, and our constant, which is negative 54 in this case. So we've got x squared plus 15x minus 54. Now, how to simplify this quadratic expression or quadratic trinomial? Now, there are many ways to simplify this thing, but the simplest way is this one. Let me just remember, when you've got squared already, you must know that you're going to open two brackets here. And what are factors of x is x all the times, like this, x and x. Now, there are many ways to simplify this problem. So one of the ways is this one. We need to know the factors of our constant, which is 54. What are factors of 54? Factors of 54 is 1. And here we've got 2. And here we've got 3. And here we've got 6. We've got 9. We've got 18. We've got 27. And 54, the last one. So guys, how do you find factor? On your calculator, you're going to say 54. The very same 54 divided by 1 is going to give you 54. And here 54 divided by 2 is going to give you 27. And here's 27. 54 divided by 3 is going to give you 18. 54 divided by 4, once it gives you fractions, that means that number is not our factor. They must not give you fractions or numbers or an answer that has comma. It needs to be a whole number, basically. So if it gives you a number with a fraction in a fraction form or in decimals, you skip that 4, you come to that to 5. 54 divided by 5, if it still gives you the answer with the decimal, you skip it, you go to 6. 54 divided by 6 is going to give you 9. 54 divided by 7 divided by 8, and if any number that gives you a fraction or an answer that is in decimal form, you skip that number that is divided with the 54. That's the basic logic behind that one. That's how you find factors of any number, guys. I hope you are clear on that. This is not a long exercise, It's just simple and short. Now, from these factors, you need to find the ones that you can multiply to give me 54 and add them to give you the middle term, which is 15. And here, yes. Now, from these factors, remember that let us start with 54 times 1. 54 times 1 is 54, but 54 plus 1 is not 15. Hurry, 27 times 2 is 54. 27 plus 2 is not 15. Remember, in this case, we work with signs, the sign and everything. Now, 18 times 3, very important, is 54. 18 times 3, correct, yes. 18 plus 3 is how much? 18 plus 3 is 21. Now, but I know that 18 minus 3 is 15. So guys, it's trial and error method. You cannot just say 18 plus 3. You can literally say 18 minus 3. You add them and they're gonna give you 15 again. Or you subtract them to give you 15. So it can be 18 plus 3, 18 minus 3. It works in all factors in this case. You can literally just say 27 times 2 is 54 here. And for you to get our 15, you can say 27 plus 2. It gives us 29. Okay? You can say 27 minus 2. So it's trial and error method to see if I can add or subtract them, which one should just change the signs between the factors, basically. I've just changed the sign in the middle here. It will depend. Yes, guys. So now, if 18 minus 3 is 15. That means I'm going to put my 18 and 3 are my factors in this case. Okay? Now the signs. Remember, the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. Now, which number is between 18 and 3 is big? It's 18 again. That means 18 is going to take the sign of the middle term, which is positive. Okay? Positive. And positive times negative is negative. Wabo? This positive times this negative is negative, because 18 times negative 3 is negative 54. 18 minus 3 is 15. That means you are done with factorizing this expression. I hope we are clear. Guys. The next 1.1.3 of factorizing here. 1.1.3 of factorization. We've got y minus xy plus x minus 1. Okay, now this one is very simple. Now is factor by grouping. Go back to your textbook to look out for these definitions and know how to use them. This is a factor by grouping. We've got 4 terms literally here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you've got 4 terms, in most cases when you factorize, you need to have 2 brackets. You need to take out the highest common factor. You need to group your factors by first, and after you have grouped your factors, you look out for the highest common factor. Now, if you can check between, and you group them by 2, basically by 2, 2, then take out the common factor from after you've grouped them. Now, in this case, we've got y minus xy plus x minus 1. Okay? Now, you need to group them properly so that you can take out the common factor. That's the basic logic. You need to know how to take out the highest common factor, and you need to be able to take out the highest common factor. If you cannot be able to take out the highest common factor, you need to regroup your terms in this case, basically. Now, let us check. Let us take out the common factor of the first 2 terms. Common factor. What is common between y minus xy? What is common there? It's y. I take out y outside the bracket. I open a bracket here. Now, our culture here. After you have taken out the common factor, you say the first term divided by my common factor. Y divided by y. Give 1. You put it here. 1. Our culture says that xy divided by y. This y divided this y, we are left with x. And you put this x here. Then you need to take out the common factor on our last terms. Now there's no common factor here. It's 1. So it's over plus 1 here. And here it's 1 because there's invisible 1 here. Therefore, 1 is here, 1 is here. Therefore, take this one outside, open a bracket of x minus 1. Remember, 1 times any number is that number, because 1 times x is x, 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. So I haven't changed anything here. You are just introducing brackets, basically. Now, these steps are very important, guys. The second step is by making sure that the 2 brackets are the same. The 2 brackets are the same. Now, are these 2 brackets the same in terms of the sign and everything, basically? In terms of how they are written, they are not the same because of what? Here 1 is negative, here is 1 is positive again. X is negative, x is positive. That means your signs must be the same on both sides, on each term. That means 1 year how is positive, positive. X should be negative on this side, and also on this side should be negative. It's a decision. It's either you make this bracket to be the same as this one, or you make this bracket to be the same as this one. It's a choice. It's either you fix this bracket or this one. It's a choice, basically. The simplest bracket to fix in this case for me is this one. I can literally simplify this one very fast. Now, first thing first, you say y bracket, and you rearrange this expression. I need to start with my x. I get about this bracket be the same as this one. Start with x, just like on this side we've got x here. I just swap them, basically. I'm gonna have negative x plus 1 plus x minus 1. So this invisible one is not necessary, by the way. It's always here. I've just swapped them. I didn't change anything. I just swapped them. Now, the signs should be the same. We've got positive x and negative x. I need to have positive x on both sides. How do I do that? Third step, y, I open a bracket. I take out this negative sign as my common factor. I hope we are clear on that. I take out this negative sign as my common factor. I take it outside, negative, and I open a bracket. Now, hurry, divide. Whatever negative divided by negative is positive. Therefore, I'm left with x. Positive divided by negative is negative. Okay, minus 1. Then close the bracket again. I hope you saw how do we find x minus 1. I said negative divided by negative is positive. Positive divided by negative is negative. Whatever, guys. Plus x minus 1. Then now I need to remove these many brackets that I see here. Therefore, this negative, I'm going to say negative 1 invisible. This negative 1 times y. Okay, negative y. Open a bracket, x minus 1. Close bracket, plus 1 invisible, x minus 1. Now, are my brackets the same or are they common? If my brackets are common, therefore I bring down one bracket. They are common again. I bring down one bracket. I'm going to have x minus 1 again. And another bracket, I combine those terms that are outside the brackets into one bracket. I've got negative y and positive 1 again. I just combine them into one bracket. I'm going to have negative y plus 1 here. Does not matter which one starts first. As long as it's negative y plus 1, you can say 1 minus y. It's not a problem. Therefore, you are done with this one, basically. This is how you factorize such expression. Thank you very much, guys, for watching these videos. Until the next one.